The following demonstration shows how to disassemble your gun. Remove the clip by pulling back on the clip release and lower the clip out of the gun. Remove the forward loader by pushing up and holding the release. Then slide the loader forward until it is free. Unscrew the barrel from the receiver. The ball retainer can then be unscrewed from the barrel. Remove the sight by pulling it back off the gun. Remove the side screws from the receiver. Then remove the top screws. Push down on the coupling pin and keep it held down. Hold the receiver firmly as you pull back on the rear housing. Slide the sleeve assembly out of the rear housing. Apply slight pressure to engage it from the valve tube. Then rotate the sleeve assembly a half turn. Lift the sleeve assembly off of the piston shaft. Slide the bolt, spring, and hammer out of the sleeve. The guide plate should only be removed for lubrication or to replace a damaged part. Remove the 3 screws on the receiver that hold the guide plate. The cog and cog pull should not be removed except to replace a damaged part. First, wipe the grease off, then use a needle nose plier to push the clip forward until it clears the rear post of the cog pull. Then gently pull the clip from the front until it is clear of the cog pull. The cog pull should then fall free. Finally, take the underside of the cog and slide it back through the top slot of the receiver. We'll take this time to show you how to put the cog pull and retainer clip back, since it is a little trickier method. The grip can be removed from the rear housing by unscrewing the 3/16" hex head bolt with a long Allen wrench. This allows for easy access to remove the regulator screw. The regulator system is held in place by the regulator screw, which has a 12 o'clock scribe mark on it to show its proper setting. As you remove the screw, count the number of turns the screw makes so that you can reassemble it to the same position. Be careful not to strip the plastic threads when removing the screw. Next, remove the regulator spring. Use one of the top screws from the receiver to thread into the regulator piston and lift out the piston. Next, unscrew the regulator sleeve using a 3/32" wrench. Finally, turn the rear housing over and shake out the poppet and poppet spring into your hand. This is an exploded view of how the regulator system goes together. This is as far as you should ever go in breaking down the gun, except as noted in the maintenance section. The gun gets put back together in the reverse order, but here are a few tips to make it go easier. When putting the grip back on, start with the rear of the grip touching the bottom of the mount. Slowly push up until the 2 pieces mate, and then replace the screw. Tighten the screw just enough so the grip is secure on the gun, but do not over-tighten. When assembling the hammer, spring, and bolt, keep the spring centered around the guide tube. Line up the hole in the bolt with the sear on the hammer. When this assembly is put into the sleeve, the hole will already be aligned in the sleeve slot. Then attach the piston shaft into the hole and slide the assembly forward. When putting the sleeve onto the piston shaft, put your finger over the end of the assembly to prevent the bolt and hammer from falling out. Put the sleeve assembly onto the piston shaft and rotate a half turn. Then slide the sleeve into the half circle slot. Line up the coupling on the rear housing with the slot in the receiver. Then slide the rear housing into the receiver. Replace the top screws in the receiver, putting the back one in first to help align the assemblies. Do not over-tighten the screws, which can cause restricted movement inside the gun and can also cause the screws to be stripped. Then replace the side screws. The sight can go on next. Screw the barrel with the ball retainer back into the gun. Use finger-tight pressure when attaching the ball retainer to the barrel and the barrel to the gun. Slide the forward loader back onto AT-85 series guns. Before putting the guide plate back on the gun, be sure the cog is fully forward. The easiest way to do this is to put the guide plate on last, after the gun has been reassembled and powered up. If the cog is not fully forward when the guide plate is attached, the leaf spring in the guide plate will be damaged when you power up the gun. Then attach the guide plate. The last step is to insert the indexed clip into the gun. There are only a few things that need to be done to maintain your AT series gun. Lubricate the following areas using the ATS supplied oil. The air source adapter. Put 4 or 5 drops in the small hole before each use. The air source O-ring. Put a drop on the O-ring before each use. The regulator system. For each month of regular use, disassemble the regulator system. Drop the poppet spring and pop it into place. Put a few drops of oil in the poppet cavity. Hand tighten the regulator sleeve into place. Clean and oil the regulator piston O-ring and put the regulator piston back into the cavity. Unthread the top screw that was used to pull out the piston. Then put the regulator spring in place, centering it around the piston. Finally, thread the regulator screw back into the gun, being careful not to cross-thread the plastic. The inside of the guide plate should be greased every 3 months, and whenever the guide is replaced. A high-temperature, multi-purpose lithium grease is recommended. Spray the hammer guide tube with WD-40 each month of regular use, and wipe off any excess. Do not use WD-40 anywhere else on the gun. Do not use any solvents or chemicals to clean or lubricate the gun, other than those mentioned here. There are a variety of parts whose performance will be degraded when exposed to these unauthorized chemicals. For cleaning, the clip can be taken apart by removing the 4 screws on the side. Be careful not to over-tighten these screws when reassembling. To help owners repair a gun that is not working right, ATS has created a troubleshooting guide. This guide lists common symptoms that typically can be corrected by our customers without having to return the gun to ATS. Again, because of the complexity of the design and special assembly methods required, customers are advised to contact ATS if the problem cannot be fixed using the troubleshooting guide. Please call us at the number listed in the troubleshooting guide and we'll arrange for the return of your gun. Typically, it takes us 1 day to repair a gun, and you will avoid the possibility of damaging your gun from trying to fix it yourself. ATS does sell replacement assemblies, which can be used as backups to assure that your gun is never at the mercy of an unexpected part failure or damage. The major components of the gun that were shown earlier are available for purchase. Your ATS paintball gun is designed to give you years of enjoyment and reliability. Our experience has shown that most problems with our guns result from the users not understanding the gun, rather than from defects in workmanship or design. We have created this video to help you achieve a better understanding of your gun, but please call us if you have any questions not covered in the video or troubleshooting guide.